So,
Yeah.
Tony, would you share any particular failure you've had or obstacle you've overcome that's been pivotal to your success?
Yeah. I have one that's pretty drastic, to tell you the truth. I'm trying to think how long ago it was. Probably 7 years, maybe 8 years ago. I still had, at the time, I probably had 20 recruiters. I was buying out my partner that I told you who brought me into the business and trained, and great person, good friend of mine still. And so I was getting ready to obviously do all the financials, buy him out. And so I had some of the senior people that worked for me that I'd actually brought in, trained, taught them the industry. They were not industry experts. Had 2 or 3 of those people come to me knowing that I was going through this process of negotiating with them, and actually came to me and actually kind of held me over the barrel and said, hey, listen, we want to be partners in the company. And I said, okay, hey, I'm putting up at the time, because as you know, recruiting businesses, banks don't like service-oriented companies because there's no capital to come take if you default on a loan. I was
Especially if
getting a
you're
loan.
full-time placement. If you had a fleet of contractors out, that'd be different. But full-time placement is much harder to get a loan on.
Yeah, so I did an SBA loan, and they took everything I owned as collateral. I mean, everything they could get their hands on to give me the loan. But they did give me the loan. And then I had 3 people who were top producers who came to me and wanted to be part of it. I said, okay, sure. I mean, this is what I'm paying. This would be your percent. Oh, no. We don't put any money in. We just want to be partners. I said,
I would love that deal too. Let me know when I can sign up for that one, Tony.
Yeah. And I think it was, maybe a little bit of, hey, now we know he's got this note, he needs to be. And so I said, no, thanks. If you want to put money in, fine. I've got everything on the line for this business. I can't do that. And so they left. And so I lost 3 or 4 key people all at one time. Well,
that's part of the value you were paying for. So basically the value was less after you bought it.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing though. You know what? I had trained those people. They were up and comers, and I trained them, gave them a chance. They never had made this kind of money, taught them the business. And so, you know what? Hey, they left. I don't hold that against them anymore. But I mean, at that time, it was like, okay, now what are you going to do? And so, hey, I did what I always did. I just bowed my back. I started coming in earlier, staying late, started rebuilding my team, and we had a drop probably for 6 months, and then the business started growing exponentially. And so it's back to, obviously it's exceeded that. I mean, we've had great years of growth over the last 3 or 4 years. So, but it was it was just one of those situations, I don't know how you would avoid it, but I think it made me stronger from a standpoint of my belief system now is there's nothing that can happen here that I can't handle. I feel like I can handle.
That helped you in the long run, but it sure wasn't what you wanted at the time that it happened. Yeah.
I feel like I can handle anything that comes my way, and mainly from that. So I really don't stress out.
Absolutely.
On stuff like that anymore.
So as we're winding this down, Tony, what websites, books, or other things would you like to tell the audience about?
Oh gosh, I am a self-development freak. So Tony Robbins, I've watched him for 30 years now. So Tony Robbins, I love his stuff. I think it really is just good on how to run your mind, how to be happy, how to be successful. So I watch him mainly for it's probably the guy that I go to the most. I've read all his books. I like Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I started using that when I first got in recruiting and didn't have any cash flow to have a passive income, and so I learned from.
So you didn't have a rich dad that handed you money?
No.
So Rich Dad, Poor Dad, one of them would apply, right?
Yeah, Poor Dad had a good dad, but he just didn't know, how to make money, and so so I had to use the books to kind of teach me how to generate a passive income stream, and so I've done that, over the years, and so I have real estate investments that from Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and So those are probably the two that I've used the most.
How about your website? What is your website, Tony?
Website is connexissearch.com. So I know that's a lot.
So spell, if you would, spell Nexus.
Okay, Connexis is Connexis, then the word search.com.
Terrific. Tony, thank you so much. This has been extremely informative, and I've learned a heck of a lot with your explanations of what you do and your philosophy. So I really appreciate you taking the time to be on the show.
Oh, Brad, hey, I'm honored and appreciate you offering this platform as well.
Absolutely. Thank you for listening to It Is About You with your host, Brad Wolf, just like the big Brad Wolf. If you find this message helpful, be sure to subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever else you listen. Also, you can visit aboutyoupodcast.com to get a list of previous shows.